Do you have a good life, but for some strange reason, you're just not satisfied and you know it could be a lot better? Today, I'm going to share with you why that is. Keep watching. This is Life Mastery Gym. I'm Damon, and I teach people just like you cutting-edge processes and techniques to help you take charge of your destiny and create the life that you want to live. If that sounds good, please click subscribe to this YouTube channel so you can get these videos on a regular basis. Your bills are paid, your family has everything they need, you have everything you need, but for some reason it just doesn't feel like enough. Now, this does not mean that you're a bad person. This doesn't mean that you're a selfish person. I've been there before and I've made it through to the other side, and I've also helped many of my clients do the same thing, find their way from an unsatisfying life to a deeply fulfilling and extremely satisfying and happy life. And that is what I'm going to share with you in a moment. By the end of this video, you will know how to do this for yourself, and make sure you stay tuned until the end, because I will show you a way to take this even deeper with some free training. What part of your life are you most satisfied with? And what part of your life are you least satisfied with? Let me know in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious about this. We all want to find our actual potential and fulfill it, and we all want to find our true selves. But so many people in personal development and self-improvement and self-help are faking it. And there's even people who advocate it with this idea of fake it until you make it. I think this is actually at the heart of what the problem is, which I will address in a moment. And I'm also going to give you a definition that I think you'll find very useful for self-actualization. But first, let's talk about self-esteem. Now, I know you didn't click on this video to learn about self-esteem, but I think it's super important, and it's also very much overlooked when it comes to self-actualization. Actually, it's self-esteem that acts as a compass in your self-actualization journey. So it's super important that we pay attention to this. Most people don't like to talk about self-esteem, and even more people are unwilling to admit that they lack self-esteem. Let's get over this right now, and let's define it in a new way so that it doesn't sound like it's something you learned about in junior high and that it has to do with people picking on you. This is a real problem that a lot of people deal with into adulthood. So basically what self-esteem really is, it's how do you feel about yourself? Are you satisfied with yourself, or are you unsatisfied with yourself? And when I say this, when I say yourself, I also mean your life. So are you unsatisfied with your life, or are you satisfied with your life? Because your life and you, yourself, are one and the same. They really are the same thing, because without you, there is no life that you could possibly know of. So how you feel about your life has a lot to say about how you feel about yourself. It's pretty much the same thing. So the first step is to discover what part of yourself and life are you most satisfied with, and what part of yourself and your life are you least satisfied with. We all have both, and if you don't, and you feel like you are 100% satisfied with all parts of yourself and your life, then I would wonder why you're watching this video. If you're thinking, Damon, I'm not satisfied with any part of myself or my life, I would then want to question you more about that. Is that absolutely true? Is there absolutely no aspect of yourself and no aspect of your life that you're satisfied with? Of course not. Of course there are some parts of you and your life, no matter how bad your life is or how bad you think you are, there are parts of yourself and your life that you are satisfied with. And if you really don't think that there is, please comment in the comment section below. I will respond to you. Now, I highly recommend that you write this down. Take inventory of all the aspects of yourself and your life that you're most satisfied with, and write them down, and then take inventory of all the parts of yourself and your life that you're not satisfied with, and write them down. And then look at them and ask yourself, what do they have in common? and what are the differences? And again, I would recommend that you write down the commonalities and that you also write down the differences between the two. You might be thinking, well, they have nothing in common. That's why one is satisfying and one is unsatisfying. To which I would say that is simply not true. You can always find commonalities between the two. If nothing else, there is one important commonality between what you're satisfied with and what you're not satisfied with, and that is you. And this is actually very, very important to understand. And last but not least, just look at the parts that you're satisfied with and write down what's common between all of the parts of your life and yourself that you are satisfied with. Write those down and then look over at just the column that are the parts of yourself and your life that you're unsatisfied with, and find all the commonalities between all of them and write those down, of course. The final step is to start creating generalizations about all the commonalities and all the differences of all of these aspects of your life. Now you might be thinking, wait a minute, Damon, I was always told that I should not make generalizations. And to a certain extent, I would agree with you that you want to be careful about what you make generalizations about and who you make generalizations about, because some of them can be really unfair. However, we constantly make generalizations. This is how we learn. We take something we understand, something that's familiar, and we apply it to the unknown. It can be a very useful tool, and of course, yes, it could be a harmful tool. But in this case, what you're doing is you're drawing out all the generalizations about what you're satisfied with and what you're not satisfied with within yourself. Yes, this is a generalization. Just simply labeling something, some aspect of your life as unsatisfying or satisfying, you're making a generalization right there. When you elicit these generalizations, that's when you can start gaining control over this. If they're unconscious, the program is really running you. These generalizations are running you because you don't know what they are. But if you make them conscious, now you can change them. So now that you're conscious of the generalizations that you make about what you're satisfied with in your life and in yourself, and you also know now, consciously, what are the generalizations you make about the areas of your life and yourself that you're unsatisfied with. What new generalizations can you make? What now is possible? What new generalizations are possible now because you simply know this and you understand this so much better than you did just a few minutes ago? What does this have to do with self-actualization? Well, when it comes to self-actualization, you need to know where in your life and in yourself are you fulfilling your potential, and where in your life is your potential going unfulfilled. The best clue you have to whether or not you are fulfilling your potential is how satisfied and fulfilled you feel, and even more so, how good is your self-esteem in that area. And I'm talking about real self-esteem. I'm not talking about arrogance. That's not real self-esteem. It's how do you genuinely feel in this area of your life? How satisfying is it? How fulfilled are you? That is the clue to whether or not you're fulfilling your potential in that area. And if you're not satisfied, then you know you need to change something. And most of the time that takes action. You can't just think it, you actually have to do something about it. And action is what really engages us. And that action teaches us more so than anything else. Experience teaches us more so than anything else. And so when you put yourself out there, when you take an action and you get feedback, that will tell you a lot more than anything I could tell you or anything that you could read. So go back to the areas where you're not fulfilled and look for the clues. You might be saying, well, what action should I take? Well, that depends on what you're seeing there. When you go back over the generalizations that you made and the clues, the commonalities or the differences, go back over those. Those usually reveal the clues to what actions you should be taking. So now you understand where you're more fulfilled in life. Now you understand where you are fulfilling your potential. How do you take what you understand about that and move it into the areas where you're not fulfilled? And that should give you some really good clues of the actions you can take to become more fulfilled, which is meaning you will be fulfilling your potential in those areas, which will create more fulfillment, more satisfaction, and higher self-esteem. So once again, Go back over what you just wrote out and use that as a guide to fulfill your potential. And go fulfill your potential. Now you have a solid strategy for self-actualizing, but what you don't know yet is how to elicit your highest values, which are usually deeply unconscious. And when you're able to elicit those values, you will achieve your highest potential. So that's why I created a 4-part video series on how to do exactly that and a lot more. So there's a link in the description below, and there's also a link in the comments below. When you click that link, it will bring you to a page where you can get immediate access to the first video, and then you'll get a video a day every day after that until you have all 4 videos. If you found this video helpful, please click the like button, and while you're down there, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you'll be notified when I put new videos out. And while you're down there, remember to get your free 4-part video series. Last but not least, if you know a friend who you think would benefit from a video like this one, make sure you share it with them. Take care.